is Pilirani Kumasewera, and I'm an alumni of Mzuzu University. I started there in 2005, did library and information science, and I graduated in 2010. And I'm working in the digital education field, including technology as well as education. My academic journey at Mzuzu is actually something that I haven't been proud to talk about, but for the sake of this documentary, I'm willing to share it because I never really did well at Mzuzu University academically. I wasn't what you would call an A student, in the case that there was actually 2 instances where I had to write supplemental exams because of lack of concentration in the schoolwork that I had. If you ask me for my graduation pictures, I would not be able to show them because I was so ashamed to attend graduation at Mzuzu University because of the way that I performed. Actually, I had to repeat 4th year, so instead of spending 4 years at Mzuzu, I did 5. So academically, I'm not proud of the journey that I had at Mzuzu University, and I know it was all my fault because I think I was pulled in several different directions, music and all these other extracurricular activities. But I managed to graduate and set up myself in this career. So after Mzuzu University, I kind of created my own career path in the sense that I became a digital education specialist, spanning 3 boundaries: education, technology, as well as library and information science. And now this is what brings my bread and butter. That's my main specialty. That's what I've been able to build a career out of, just digital education. So it's helped me tremendously because at Mzuzu I was exposed not only to my course, which is library and information science, but I was also exposed to other elements of education as well as ICT technology. So with those elements, I was able to combine them and make myself this career path of digital education because, library and information science is all about packaging information in a way that people are going to be easily accessing it. And education is really about teaching people, and technology is just, the technical aspect of putting all these things together. So with these things that I was able to learn from Mzuzu University, I managed to come up with an idea, which I'm going to expound on a little bit more later, just to make it possible that I could bring it together and deliver it to the people of Malawi. So Padziwe is a digital education initiative. It creates content. Our main specialty is creating content that is interactive and that is rich with media to make sure that the kids can learn better and teachers can teach better. So I don't know if you know how well you know the statistics for Malawi, of education in Malawi, but for the last 20 years, there have been an average of 120,000 students at MSCE, and almost half of those students every year fail to make it past MSCE. And on the primary school level, it's even worse because 90% of 10-year-olds in Malawi cannot identify a word and read it. So there's a lot of crisis in terms of the learning of the kids in Malawi, and one of the contributing factors was lack of quality teaching and learning resources. So the Padziwe app was conceived to bridge that gap, to make sure that we can take this content, to make it more fun, make it more interactive, and bring it to the students that are in rural areas so that they can learn better and achieve learning outcomes. So I was working as a web developer at this other school, specifically New Era Foundation. And after I finished working on that project, they were not paying me, so I'll still go there just to, play around because I didn't have a computer at that time, and I only had to go there and access these computers. So I started observing how few books that they had in their library at this school, and yet they had a computer full of, top-of-the-art computer lab, which had a lot of top-of-the-art computers, right? So I started thinking, what if we take the content that these students are learning in class and put them in a digital format that they can access through these computers? That way would greatly supplement the number of books and make it possible that these students can be learning not just only from the books but through the computers. So from that point, I think the idea just grew. So with computers, you not only have to limit yourself to text, but you can add images, you can add videos, you can add animations, you can add audio. So that's when exactly the idea was conceived. Okay, what if we build an application, a mobile application that allows students to learn in the most exciting, most engaging way? And that's when we conceived the idea of Padziwe and get it registered. I think it's most to do with the principles, not the actual knowledge. So, Mzuzu University stands on 3 principles, the self-reliance, the service, and perfection. So when I was at Mzuzu, I really bred into these models, these principles, especially that of self-reliance, of not waiting for other people to help to come and solve your problems, and also just of the perfection of just doing things in the best way that you can. So these 2 principles helped me to say, okay, you know what, we don't have to wait for somebody else to donate more books for us. We can start with what we already have. The teachers have notes and we have computers, so we can just digitize this and bring them to the students. So I think those 2 principles of self-service as well as perfection really helped me come up with this idea and implement it. So on the way, we have received some assistance from the education stakeholders in Malawi. Mostly I would cite the Ministry of Education. We have worked with a number of departments there, including the Department of Teacher Training and Development, the Department of Secondary Education, as well as Basic Education. And these people have been with us, guiding us, giving us the principles, the curriculum, and also just recommendations. There's been multiple times where we have actually have recommendations from these ministry departments, and also an MOU with the Department of Teacher Training and Development. Aside from that, there's another organization that is currently now funding this initiative. So now we have that assistance from that organization. It's not strictly in the education sector, but it's just there to help us finance this initiative now and through the years to come. So the impact that Padziwe has made in the educational landscape has been huge, as far as we could tell, because I'll cite you one example where we're at this Innovation Awards, where we won one of these trophies, right? And when I come on stage to make a pitch presentation, one of the judges stood up and said, "You know what? Last night, as I was preparing for this event, my daughter came to where I was working and saw this presentation of Padziwe, which I had opened on my laptop, and she asked me, what is this? What are you doing? Like, I know there's an event in Coppola and we're trying to see which innovation is the best. It's the best." So the daughter said, I know these Padziwe people, they came to our school and gave us tablets for us to study. And if it wasn't for these tablets, I wouldn't have been able to pass. And that time, the girl had passed so well that she got an international scholarship. She was bound to fly out of the country in like 2 months. So that story alone just highlights the importance and the impact that Padziwe has made in a lot of learners' academic lives. I can cite example after example, but so far I think about 12,000 students have been benefited with the initiative from Padziwe and been able to achieve learning outcomes. Yes, there have been a number of recognition that have been made for Padziwe. Locally, the ministry has recognized us, and the president mentioned us. I think in 2021, he went to the UK at the Education Summit, and he mentioned the impact that Padziwe is doing in Malawi.
He came up with Padziwe. He calls it Padziwe Digital Library.
Yes,
and what that has done is to create a platform where they can teach a lesson virtually through a computer.
Right.
So you could even be offline. You don't have to be online all the time, but you can go through a process of scientific experimentation.
Right.
And you just follow the instructions, and it's pretty unique.
There's been a few trophies that we've won locally, innovation and education, and some of them are right here, as you can see. Internationally, we are recognized by the African Union as one of the top 10 education innovations, the whole of Africa, as you can see from that certificate of recognition on the wall there. So yeah, I would say Padziwe has been well recognized on the national scene as well as international. So there are two reasons why I chose the name Padziwe. The first one is I wanted to convey an idea that a student is thirsty and he wants to quench his learning thirst. So you can go to that Padziwe, because Padziwe essentially means a dam where you can drink and quench your learning thirst. But the second reason is more personal, because my home village is Dziwe. Timati, we're going to Dziwe. Padziwe. So I was like, I can kill two birds with one stone with this name. So apart from just conveying that you can quench your learning thirst at this dam, but also I wanted to be reminded of where I came from. We used to walk like 10 kilometers just to get to school, Padziwe, and now it's helping students do their academic work. What I consider as the most important highlight, as I think comes as an alumni, and it's this moment right here. Because as I said at the beginning of the interview, I've not been proud of my academic journey. It took me 5 years instead of 4 to graduate, but now here I am with people of Mzuzu University saying, okay, you know what, this guy has done some outstanding work in the community, and for my university to come to my office and interview me like this, I think it's the highest honor that I've received so far, and so I will cherish this moment till the day I hit the ground. My advice to past, present and future students of Mzuzu University would be, you don't know what your academic life is going to take, like the path that you're going to travel. So the best thing that you can do when you get into college is to start exploring. Apart from just sticking with the course that you're given, obviously by any means give it the best that you can, but start exploring other spectrums of yourself. You may never know which side you end up developing to be the best when you come out of college, and you may never know that could be the thing that makes you happy. So I think it all boils down to the concept of personal development, right? Just look at yourself as a student and say, okay, in what areas am I lacking? What am I lacking specifically? And start working on those areas. You may never know which one you are going to rely on, because now this world is very fluid, yeah? There's a lot of things that are happening, the artificial intelligence, and all these kind of things. So just make sure that you look at all the aspects that you have, look at your weaknesses and work on them, and then you can have multiple streams of potentiality.